pandemonium, liable to walk upon the scene. To illustrate my laughing run, Jonah and the whale, Noah and the ark, what did they do? Just when everything looked so dark, man, they said we better accept. Actuate the positive, eliminate the negative. Latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, don't mess with Mr. In Between.
Mr. Up, you look so sad. So far away. What's wrong?
I was thinking, Charity.
Couldn't have been very happy thoughts.
I thought moving to Faithville was the best thing I'd ever done. But now I'm not so sure.
Oh, come on. Faithville's a wonderful place to live in.
It used to be.
It used to be. What's wrong?
Well, me and Doc are friends.
Right.
Buddies.
Right.
Well, twice today he ignored me. Didn't even say hi.
Well, maybe he didn't see you.
Oh, he saw me all right. I suppose it's too much to expect a doctor to chum around with a town mechanic.
Oh, he's not like that.
Oh, well, you weren't there. Why, he ridiculed me and rejected me and humiliated me. He even hurt my feelings.
Oh, come on, Mr. Up. Everybody loves you in Faithville.
Well, that's what I thought. But then later on, he came out of his office and I saw him.
Yeah?
And so I said, well, I'm going to run right over there and say hi to him. Well, I even tripped over some tires on the way out. Well, when I get out there, he walked across the road onto the other side.
Oh, my goodness, I'm sorry, Mr. Up.
I suppose a town mechanic isn't worth the time of day to the doctor.
Oh, there, okay?
Charity,
What?
if Faithville ever deserts you,
Yeah?
you know, 'cause you're just a cook and a waitress, well, I'll be right there beside you. You can count on me. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm just a cook and a waitress.
Hi, Charity. Feed me first, please.
No, don't feed him first. If you do, there'll be nothing left for me.
Charity, what's wrong? How come you always laugh at things we do?
Oh, I was just thinking about how Faithville has changed.
Why? What's wrong?
Well, Mr. Up was in here today, and he looked like he lost his best friend. Why, twice today, Doc ignored him.
Well, maybe he had something on his mind.
That's not what Mr. Up said. Doc purposely walked right by him and even crossed the road just to get away from him. Just because he's a mechanic.
Are you sure? That's not like Doc at all.
You can't blame the guy. Yeah, after all, he is the town doctor.
What? Just because he's the town doctor, we have to treat him totally different than everybody else in Faithville?
A doctor's got to be careful who he's seen with. You know, maybe it's not right that he's seen with the town mechanic.
Mr. Doc, I can't believe you said that.
Neither can I.
Well, you two, you just don't understand etiquette.
The word's etiquette.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the word's etiquette. What's etiquette?
Oh, something you don't have too much of.
Well, just because you own a hardware store and you get all your stuff from that fancy magazine, you think you're real special in this town.
Oh, forget it, Mr. Cartwright.
Shows what you know.
What, are you saying that you're a better person than me?
I'm more successful than you are.
Says who?
Says me.
Well, I suppose I should just consider myself blessed that you're sitting at the same table as me.
Well, I only do that so that I can get a small morsel of food before you shovel it all down your mouth.
Well, we'll just see who the better man is.
What do you mean? We already know who the better man is.
Hey!
Well, I'm just gonna take my lonely self back to my shop. I wouldn't want to leave my customers with the wrong impression.
Well, that's good because I have a reputation to uphold.
Hey, those are my rolls! Hey, Well, what about me? I got something to say here, too.
Get your hands off me. Why don't you pick on somebody your own size?
Is this the guy, Mayor?
Look, I'm innocent. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. It was the other guy.
Frankie, just settle down before you get yourself into even more trouble.
Yeah, well, you'll be sorry. You just wait.
Frankie, haven't your reckless words gotten you into enough trouble yet?
What do you mean, reckless words?
Words that you just speak without thinking about how much it's going to hurt someone else or the consequences you're going to cause to yourself?
Consequences?
Look, Frankie, you got mad and you started saying things without thinking. Then that other fella, he got really mad. Well, now you're going to go and spend some time in jail. You know, the Bible says that what you did to that fella was stick a sword in him?
Come on. All I did was call him a few names.
Yes? Well, here, let me show you. It's right here. Yes, Proverbs 12:18 says that reckless words pierce like a sword, but the tongue of a wise man brings healing. Now, wouldn't you rather be known as a person who makes other people feel good about themselves?
No, I don't want to be no goody-goody going around trying to make other people feel good.
Yeah, you'd rather say mean and reckless things and hurt other people and get yourself into even more trouble. You know, Frankie, one of these days you're going to really say the wrong thing, and I won't be there to rescue you.
Listen, I don't need nobody to rescue me. I can do just fine on my own.
Okay, if you say so. Boys and girls, I hope that none of you want to be compared to someone who puts a sword into another. We need to watch the words that come out of our mouth and speak only words that encourage others.
Doc, you and me are having it out right now, right here.
Having what out?
This problem between you and me.
I didn't know we had a problem.
Well, you ignored me today. Twice.
I did? I don't remember that. Well, if I did, I'm sorry.
You mean you don't think that you're any better than me? And you're not ashamed to be seen talking to me?
Mr. Up, what kind of a person do you think I am?
Well, stuck on yourself kind of guy.
Mr. Up, how'd you like to go to the diner with me right now?
Yeah.
Hey, and you know what? I'm going to the next town to pick up some medication, and I'd be honored if you'd come along with me.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean you and me, we go together? And then we stop and get something to eat? Wow, that would be great. You wait right here. I'm gonna go get my going to town overalls on. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Hi, Charity. I feel so good, but am I ever hungry?
Oh, hi.
Are you having a bad day, Charity? Oh, I have been so busy. We've got this mayor's conference coming up, and I've had these important people coming in and out of the office all day. And I got up earlier today to go to Miss Rose's because I wanted to get fresh flowers from her greenhouse so the office would look extra special.
Oh, I see. So you decorate the office just for the important people?
It's just so interesting to listen to all their plans and all their ideas. Charity, is something wrong?
Well, maybe my day wasn't as wonderful as yours.
Aw, tell me all about it.
Well, if you must know, Mr. Up was in here, And he thinks that Doc, being the doctor that he is too good to chum around with him.
That doesn't sound like Doc. But you know the way Mr. Up can be. He probably just misunderstood.
What do you mean, you know the way Mr. Up can be?
Well, he does tend to misjudge situations a lot.
Oh, just because he's a mechanic, you think he's just not a brain like some people around here?
No, I just mean that he thinks differently sometimes.
Oh, so you think Mr. Up doesn't think now?
Look, Charity, I don't appreciate you putting words in my mouth.
Especially when you think your words are so much better than mine.
You are impossible today. Maybe you need a break from all of that cooking.
Oh, so now you think the heat's gotten to my head. So I don't sit around all day and file my nails or giggle at what important people have to say. Or take all day to arrange flowers, fresh flowers for the office. I work hard, and I work all day.
Well, I never.
Oh, I'm sure you haven't.
I don't have to sit here and be insulted.
No, you don't have to sit here and be insulted by a little nobody like me. Ooh. Ooh.
Hello. I hope you'll excuse my busyness, but I have to find just the right card for my aunt. It's her birthday this week, and I have to get this card in the mail today. I like to try to pick cards that I know the people I'm sending them to will really enjoy. My aunt loves pictures of the country. She says she misses all the sights and sounds of nature. Here it is. I just know my aunt will love this. She puts the cards on the mantel in her living room. Do you send cards to people in your family or perhaps your friends? I love to get cards from my family and friends. It's good to remember people. Did you know that even Jesus thought it was very important to do things to remember people? He gave us something to do to remember everything he's done for us. Can you guess what it is? It's communion. Instead of a card, Jesus gave us the communion meal to remember him by. Of course, there's a lot of things he did that remind us of him. Why, the whole world reminds us that there's a God. But communion is a special way that God's people can come together, sharing in the bread and juice, to help us to remember that he died for our sins, and so that we would have eternal forgiveness. I'm going to write a little bit to my aunt and rush off to the post office. I know that she'll be waiting for this card, and Jesus is waiting for you to remember him and all he did for us on the cross. Well, have a good day, boys and girls, and I'll be seeing you soon.
Would you like me to go get Doc? Are you hurt?
No. Oh, don't bother getting Doc. Huh, he wouldn't even want to come to a lowly place like my diner.
Charity, does this have anything to do with Miss Evidence by any chance? I did see her walking down the sidewalk, and, why, she looked a little upset.
Well, she should be upset. I confided in her about something, and all I found out was Miss Evidence was little Miss Class.
What?
Oh, I confided in her and about how Doc thinks he's too good to be nice to Mr. Up because he's a mechanic, and she sided with Doc.
Okay, wait a minute. Doc isn't nice to Mr. Up because Mr. Up's a mechanic? And Miss Evidence agrees?
And Mr. Doubt agrees with Doc. Ooh, Faithville's gonna be divided between the haves and the have-nots.
My goodness. I wonder what Doc thinks about us. You know, being farmers and all. I mean, Doc's nice to John, and they seem to be friends and all. And the truth of it all is that Doc looks down on us.
It's surprising what you learn about people, isn't it?
Sure is. And Miss Evidence? Miss Evidence, she agrees?
Yes. She's rubbing elbows with the elites of Faithville. We're just people in her past, not the fresh flower type.
Fresh flowers?
Yeah. Yeah. Poor Mr. Cutright. He was so upset when Mr. Doubt sided with Doc.
This is going to be one sad communion Sunday.
Well, maybe Pastor can have communion for the low class and the high class. And poor Mr. Uppy's probably somewhere crying all by himself and rejected and so all alone.
Hi, Charity.
Hi, Charity. We just came for some of that fresh rhubarb pie of yours.
Oh, that's nice. I'll be right back with some.
Boy, Charity seems very sad today.
I noticed that. I wonder what's wrong.
Well, let's not push her. If she wants to talk, she will.
Okay, you're right. You're right. She comes.
Mmm.
Charity, you look a little upset. Why don't you have a seat and tell Irene all about it, okay? You'll feel better if you do. Come on, sit down.
Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Faithville just isn't the lovely town it used to live in.
Charity, Faithville still is a lovely town to live in.
Oh, it's surprising what you don't know.
Well, like what?
Aw, everybody's upset with everybody. What kind of communion service are we gonna have anyways?
Oh, Charity, we all have our differences, but we still care for one another.
Yeah, but some people in Faithville think that they're more important than the rest of us.
No. That cannot be.
Sad, but it's true. Doc, he won't even talk to Mr. Up because he's a mechanic. And Mr. Doubt, well, he agrees that an important person like Doc should be careful with whom he speaks with. And to top it all, Miss Evidence, she's taking Doc's side. Just because he's a mechanic, he's not important enough.
Charity, where did you get all that stuff?
I heard it with my own 2 ears.
This doesn't sound like the people we know.
No, there must be some misunderstanding.
I wish it wasn't. Poor Mr. Up.
Honey, I think we should go and talk to Mr. Up. Maybe we can help.
Oh, of course.
Would you excuse us?
I'm just sure that there's a mistake.
Yes. We'll see you later, okay?
And thanks for the pie, Charity.
Oh, sure. Leave me all alone. Ah, who cares about a waitress? Poor Mr. Up.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, hi, Pastor. Hello. So, what would you like to eat tonight, Pastor?
Whatever you suggest, Charity.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of suggesting anything. I'm just a cook and a waitress.
And you should have seen what he said to me about my shop and everything like that. I can't believe it.
Whoa! Wait a minute. What's going on here? One at a time, please.
There's people in this town that think they're more important than others.
Yeah, some people are being oversensitive.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a farmer's wife. Or a farmer, for that matter.
That's right. And I resent the fact that some people think that I don't do any work.
Okay. I can't believe what I'm hearing here. How did all this get started anyway?
Well, it was all Doc's fault. He broke Mr. Up's heart. Who does he think he is? Just because he's a doctor and poor Mr. Up's just a mechanic?
We're all created equal in God's eyes. That includes people in businesses. Whoa.
That's enough. Everybody calm down. I don't know what's going on between Mr. Up and Doc, but I do know that this strife that's going on between all of you, it's not right. How can we possibly have a communion service when you're all at one another?
Well, I guess you'll have to have communion in 2 shifts.
There can't be any communion service unless this situation gets resolved. Part of communion is understanding the Lord's body. We may be different and see things differently from time to time, but we need to remember we're still a family. Look, communion is all about remembering the Last Supper the disciples had with Jesus. It reminds us all that we have something in common. Jesus Christ. I know that problems are going to come up between us, but there's a proper way to work out our differences. Hurting one another with our words is not the right way. How we treat each other is how we treat God.
But what about Mr. Up and Doc?
Let me deal with Mr. Up and Doc. Well, you guys are all friends. You shouldn't be taking sides anyway. Has Mr. Up been coming to y'all?
Enough's enough. Oh, you people.
Well, not really. He told me and I sort of told everyone else. Me and my big mouth.
Oh, Charity, don't cry. We know you didn't mean anything bad by it.
We asked her to tell us.
We did.
We all had a hand in it.
In today's program, we see a great deal of strife. Now, strife occurs when people don't get along. If people fight, quarrel, and envy with one another, you can be guaranteed there's trouble in the air. You know, I have 4 children, and when they get to arguing and bickering with one another, it really bothers their mother and I, especially if they call each other names. Since we love all our children equally, when one attacks another, it grieves us or makes us sad, because each one of my children are a part of my wife and I. The same is true in the family of God. How we treat one another is really how we treat Jesus. In Matthew chapter 35, Jesus spoke about 2 groups of people. There were those who fed the hungry, gave a drink to the thirsty, clothed the needy, took care of the sick, and visited the prisoners, while another group did nothing to help anyone. In Matthew 25:45, Jesus said, "I tell you the truth, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me." Before you fight with a brother or a sister, refuse to help a friend, or disobey your parents in the Lord, think about what Jesus is saying here. How you treat them is how you really treat Jesus. Now, I know that if Jesus came to your house for dinner tonight, you would treat him with utmost love and respect. Do the same for everyone in the church, because they are all a part of the body of Christ. If one hurts, all hurt, including Jesus. In fact, 1 Corinthians 11:30 tells us when we take communion to examine our hearts and make sure we are treating each other properly, because if we aren't, it can cause us to be sick. Therefore, show love to each other, and the world will know that you are really a disciple of Christ.
what's going on here?
Has there been a tragedy?
A big tragedy. My mouth.
Oh, looks like I'm in the right place at the right time. Oh, wouldn't you know it? I left my doctor bag at the office.
It's not that kind of a problem, Doc.
No, medicine won't help. I need a seamstress.
A seamstress?
Yeah, someone to sew my lips closed.
Oh, Charity.
Hey, I thought you two were fighting.
Why would we be fighting?
Well, we were told that Mr. Up...
I guess maybe I should have talked to Doc before I talked to anybody else.
Especially me, Mr. Up.
I don't get it.
Charity said that you insulted Mr. Up.
Ignored him.
Just because he's a mechanic and not a trained doctor like you.
You know, it appears that we've gotten carried away for nothing.
Yeah, it was a big misunderstanding. I talked to Doc and well, he said he didn't ignore me.
No, I would never ignore Mr. Up. I remember the last time I tried to fix my own car. I have a lot of respect for the things that Mr. Up knows.
So we got into strife over things we imagined.
Oh, I just feel really bad.
When are we going to learn?
We need to all remember that we're all a part of God's family. We need to see each other the way that God sees us. Then we wouldn't be saying or doing things to hurt one another.
That's right.
You know, I don't even think I'm going to have to teach this message on Sunday. We've just had an object lesson on communion in the best possible way. Well, we lived it.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna go find Mr. Doubt and apologize.
Good for you.
And I think I'm going to call Miss Evans. You know, Pastor, I feel horrible for what I said. And everything I did.
You know, now that that's all over, think I can get some pie?
Yeah,
With ice?